Linus Tech Tips coverage of PAX 2013 is brought to you by Western Digital, Intel, and SteelSeries. So we're here with Todd Walker, the brand manager for Logitech G series. So that is their gaming peripherals for those of you who have been living under a rock for the last, decade or so. And they've got a new mouse that pretty much takes the rock and moves it and digs up all the earth and completely turns everything on its head, because this right here is the G602, and it's nothing like the G600 or really anything else we've ever seen before. Can you tell us what are the key innovations that you've brought to the table with this mouse?
So the big thing with the 602 is battery life. So it's a new wireless mouse in our line. It does not replace the 700S. We still have the 700S in our line as a rechargeable gaming mouse. The 602 is a wireless gaming mouse that has 250 hours of non-stop gaming battery life.
And so you've got a custom proprietary battery pack in there. Can you show me that?
Sure.
Show me that special battery pack that you use.
That's a special two AA Duracell battery pack standard.
Fascinating. And so, what can you do to optimize the power of a mouse? Because when you think low power, you think eco, you think like, if I told you it's an eco car, you'd go, oh, well then it's not very fast. Right. What have you done to make this perform well and be eco, so to speak?
Yeah, so the sensor, you're right, we put all of our emphasis into the sensor, which is what draws most of the power in a wireless mouse. But we didn't skimp on any of the performance. So it has a sensor that's very similar to what you have in the 100S or the 400S, very, very accurate, very precise. It does have a 250 DPI sensor in there.
Did you mean 2500?
Oh, sorry, yeah, 2500. 250 to 2500, that's the range. Thank you for correcting me. And a lot of the emphasis has been into the power management on the sensor. So when it's in performance mode, you get full capabilities out of the mouse. And that's where you get the 250 hours of battery life. And then in endurance mode, when you're using it for non-gaming purposes, it actually will do a lot more of turning the sensor on and off and fluctuating how the power is used. And you get up to 1,400 hours of usage with it.
Now this to me, it looks not quite like the G600 where you can really look at it and you can go, yeah, that's an MMO mouse. This to me looks like it's more of a tweener where it could be used for MMO use or FPS use. Can you show us all the buttons and tell us about the default bindings on the mouse?
Sure. So it has 11 controls on it. When we announced this earlier in the week, there were a lot of people who were actually saying they did want to use it for MMOs, that 20 buttons was just maybe a little too much for them. We have 6 buttons on the thumb panel here, and one of those is for mode indicator as the default. I also have 2 buttons here that are DPI shift up and down. Got on the fly up to 5 settings. And then of course we've got primary keys on the switches, are 1 underneath the scroll wheel, so that's 11 in all. And there's endurance mode.
Which, are you realistically expecting, if someone can game for 250 hours non-stop, is there a realistic reason why a gamer would even use endurance mode that much?
There may be people who want to really extend the life of the batteries. But a lot of us have been using prototypes for a couple of months, and we've been in performance mode the whole time, and haven't actually gotten to the end of a set of batteries yet.
Now, speaking of getting to the end of a set of batteries, I think a big problem for gamers is often swapping batteries in and out. Can you show us sort of how quickly you could swap a battery in and out of this bad boy?
Sure. I don't have another set of batteries, but it's very, very easy to just pop that out, the batteries out.
Now hold on, this is why I wanted you to do this. You got 1 battery in there. Can the mouse...
Only 1 battery.
Oh no, oh, what happens?
It keeps running. Right, so the sensor requires so little power that I can actually just put 1 battery in there and I'm just fine. So I just take 1 battery out and we're ready to go.
Now, this isn't necessarily, I was kind of joking with them about, well, you can swap one in, swap in another one. That's not really the point. But the point, from my perspective, is you look at it and you go, well, what if you don't want the weight of 2 AA batteries? It's not a particularly heavy mouse to start with, but if you wanted to lighten it up a little bit, you can actually run it with 1 battery, and you're still looking at 125 hours of continuous gaming. Now, when you benchmark that, do you mean like on a basis of sort of a normalized, well, if someone gamed for 4 hours a day, then it would last approximately this many hours? How are you benchmarking it?
No, so we do a run to die test, and that's how we benchmark the 250 hours. So we basically put it on a test bed that activates the sensor continuously, put a fresh set of batteries in, and then we wait until the batteries are dead.
So you mentioned the world record for gaming continuously was how many hours?
It's like about 143 hours straight.
So that gentleman would not necessarily be able to make do with just one battery, probably have to put both of them in then.
Yeah, if you want to go for Guinness World, you need both batteries.
Everyone else should be okay though. Yeah. You know what, this is fantastic. You've also got your mouse pad. Do you want to give us a very brief run through of that before we move on?
Yeah, sure. So the one that we have here is the G440. This is a hard gaming mouse pad. It's semi-rigid polymer core. This is really designed for people who do a high sensitivity gaming. It has a very low friction surface, which you can see it kind of runs like an air hockey table against the mouse feet. The 440 and the 240, which is a cloth flexible mouse pad that's more for low DPI gaming, low sensitivity gaming. Both of them have been tested to work across the entire line of Logitech gaming mice. They actually improve the performance of what are already great accuracy and precision. And regardless of whether you're using optical sensors or laser sensors, either one of them is great for those mice.
This has been fantastic. Thank you very much, Todd, and enjoy the rest of the show.
You too.